Okay, we are
Woohoo!
live. Mark, good evening.
Anna,
How are you?
as ever, it's a pleasure, my lovely. How are you?
Good. Yes, not too bad, thank you. And again, welcome, guys, to everybody. Thank you for joining us yet again. I think it's a teeny weeny bit delayed, but no much. So, yes, I'm good. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
All right, we've had a busy day, Anna.
Yeah, you look rather tired, or you
A
sound rather
rest.
tired. Sorry, you do
I've
you do sound like you're tired.
so I work about 8 hours a week for the fruit and veg wholesale company, and they've got the farm as well. And
Yeah,
I've decided I was going to get 50 turkeys in for Christmas,
yeah. You said yes.
but to get to 50 turkeys in, I had to build a turkey house, and that's been a mission in itself. So I'll show you it
Turkey
before we
house.
finish tonight, and that's if it's not too dark by then.
Yeah.
It's it's on a wooden base. With a
Okay.
polytunnel frame on it, and then plastic. It's got the complete things netted in
Yeah.
with like rabbit wire, and then a
Mm-hmm.
plastic sheet over the top, so they're in the dry. But
Yeah.
the interesting thing is, Anna, and you have to smile about these things. I started it, and I thought to myself, oh, this is going to be easy. This is nothing to worry about. Um, 2 days of engineering later, but it is finished. Apart from the door, I've just got to fix the door on tomorrow. I've put some board up tonight, but
Yeah.
fix the door up tomorrow, and I've got a couple of little bits to tidy up on it. But very pleased with it. It's on sledges, so we can
Yeah.
just tow it round. So they're inside on the grass, and
Yeah.
every day you tow it to fresh grass. So every day they get to pick the bugs off the ground, and
Yeah. Yeah.
they get to chew on the fresh grass and that. So they're pasture fed, as well as fed, animal feed fed. But we're going to mix our own feed up for them,
Okay.
so we can give them as much protein as we want. So there'll be a protein, probably something like beans, oats, and wheat and barley all mixed up.
Yeah.
We've got. I'm hoping that they've got a friend got some soybeans, which is he's agreed to let me have. So we just grind the whole lot up together, and that will give us a real nice high protein feed for them. And
Yeah.
then
To
we haven't
fatten them
got to
up for
give them.
Christmas.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, Anna, more so than anything, is we'll know what's in the food.
Yeah.
And that's obviously one of the big issues with, we know with what's going on at present with the food industry.
Mm-hmm.
I know, last year and the year before, there was a big thing about all the chickens stopped laying across the world.
Yeah.
Well,
This. Yeah.
they changed the food. It's as simple as that. They
Yeah.
knew what to take out to stop them.
Mm.
So for me, I don't want to be in that position. So, fortunately on the farm here, Ray has said, we can mix some feed up. So that's great news.
Yeah.
So we'll know what they're having. We'll know when we come to sell on the other end. They're pasture fed.
Yeah.
They've been on really good high protein diets. That means, from my side, selling it, I know it's a really good turkey, and
Yeah.
someone buying it, they know what they're buying.
Yeah.
There's not 50 chemicals pumped into it. So it's only 50 happy customers. We've already sold 11. So we've only
Yeah.
got 39 to do. But one thing I will say, Anna, is I was horrified at how much turkeys made last year. On a
Right.
positive side for the farmers, I have to say, but obviously, we're fighting against bird flu and every other piece of BS. We've got a challenge with the birds at present because,
Yeah.
there's this terrible, I can't even say it with a straight face. There's this terrible disease called bird flu.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Oh.
One thing I will say is that I've today had again this is a fifth one this week
Right.
to talk about TB
Right.
in local cattle and blue tongue as well, which is a kind of a flu virus in cattle. But they're quarantining all the farms off already. We know it. They're sending us out on a daily route of here's the farms that are now affected. The
Yeah.
next
Yeah.
thing will be that they'll be saying that unfortunately we're going to have to cull all the animals, and we know following the agenda, and most of the guys who are following you, Anna, know what the score is now. We've had
Yeah.
enough conversations. This window is sinking into the abyss,
Yeah.
and we get less and less meat protein on the planet because people who think they know what they're doing and think they know what they're on
They have no idea.
want to control it. I bet they've got big farms around the world. Well, they've got plenty of animals, and don't you
I'm
worry about
sure
that.
they do. And the bunkers
Don't you
underneath. Yeah.
worry.
But
We'll
there
be all
was.
right. We'll just eat bugs.
Yeah, but this was part of the with obviously my title is the perfect storm, really, because there's so much of it happening. So sorry, as many people join us. Hi everybody again. Sorry, because I know we people joining halfway through, not halfway through, sorry, but anyway, hello and thank you for joining us. But yeah, totally. The perfect storm of all this stuff that is happening it is ridiculous, isn't it? And it's literally, it's just looking at the news and obviously trying to follow this. I know we haven't chatted last week, but literally things, obviously the same things have been happening, but is all of this escalation in the media of every aspect of all this stuff that has been happening, isn't it? Is everything just been amplified? It feels like 10 times since, since the week, the week that we spoke to. So, but just going back, sorry, to your turkeys. Obviously you taking the orders. You're taking the orders for your turkeys, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if anybody, we can, when you're ready, whatever, we know the time, we can publicize if somebody wants to order a really truly organic and chunky monkey turkey.
They can do that. They'll have to drive to Suffolk to get it, but they can order one.
Yeah, if somebody's local, but yes.
we can't post them out.
No, obviously.
Do you know, Anna, just to quickly on that note, I don't know if we had this conversation the other day, but in America, they used to post children.
Yeah, you did say last. Yeah.
I just find that bizarre. Can you imagine doing that now? Anyway, we daren't even post a turkey.
No, come on.
Anyway, listen, you messaged me further this week, reference to my video I put up about my crystal ball watermelon.
Yes, I couldn't help to notify you of such occurrence.
I had a lot of response to that video. Yeah. And actually the one that I did a few days before that, which was where I walked around my cousin's farm, which was like the sort of starter to that menu.
Right.
Went wild, and when I put the proper video up for it, Facebook went
Yeah, for anybody who's not watched, Mark did a video last week sometime where he pretended this watermelon was a
crystal ball.
Crystal ball, that's right. Yes, and he talked about certain things. We're going to talk about it now, but in a more seriousness. And the way Mark was hugging the watermelon didn't quite appeal to the Facebook and eventually maybe YouTube, because he was sort of hugging it a little bit too much in the true fashion as you do. And as soon as I've seen this, like, Mark, stop touching this watermelon. It's not good. Stop doing that. But anyway, so long it's still on YouTube, it's okay. But anyway, so
not been banned just yet.
Yeah. Anyway, so coming back to the turkeys, right? And we talked about the last time we spoke, we talked about the registration of the chicken, which is looming really, really fast. So 1st of October, it becomes a legal requirement to register all of the chickens. So last time when I've obviously we spoke, a few people mentioned, because I wasn't sure about the how much it cost or how much it would cost in terms of fine for the turkeys. So not the turkeys, the chickens. And yes, it was found to be £5,000 to what I saw. The list of the stuff does include, unfortunately, all the birds apart from the budgies, cockatoos, and some other small birds, providing they're fully inside in their enclosure. So yes, the fine was saying £5,000, but being me, I was kind of obviously reading this and in the multiple places, and I quite found that the words they've been using is a lot of them say commercial and compensation. So as I understood from what I've read, they're basically saying that if you commercially grow chickens for whatever reason, it doesn't matter because you have to register them either or. And they said, in terms of in a means of compensation, they need to know. So I'm like, well, hold on a minute then. It kind of looks like it's aimed at literally commercial birds, although we have to register the birds as a private people anyway. Sure. And then reading further on in many places, and well, actually, yes, you can face up to £5,000 fine, and I think it's 6 months in prison. Just imagine you're like, in the prison, it's like, so what did you do? Oh, yeah, rob the house. So what are you here for? Yeah, I had 5 chickens, just imagine that, right? But anyway, just reading through the things in there, and it says that it's most likely if you do have, one, that you won't face consequences, and initially they will send you like warnings first or that kind of thing, which is, I'm not sort of putting any thought in people's heads of saying do or don't do. People get to do what it's right for them or what they feel is right for them to do. But it just, reading that, it kind of looks like you're not going to just suddenly go boom, £5,000 for your one chicken. It looks like there are processes and more so inclined to be into commercial things. So it just kind of put my mind a little bit at rest for people that do have a small selection of chicken that, again, not saying not doing. I've just read through after our last conversation, and that's what I came about. So
yeah.
But anyway, excuse me. So anyway, you'll publish later. We talk about your turkeys when they're ready to be harvested and fattened up and stuff. But I do love the idea of the home, the feed, to make your own feed. Though I've done a lot of research myself for chickens I don't have to to be able to sort of like sprout the food and stuff like that. Because at the same time, I had the same problem with the chickens I don't have that time when the food, whatever they changed in it, it's the girls just weren't doing any. Well,
weren't earning their keep.
No, so yeah, unfortunately, it was that. So anyway, so as we are on the chickens, right? I've seen again. It's just kind of a mere tiny little thing, but again, it was relevant to obviously our food and the eggs. I've seen it was the new legislation type thing. I mean that, excuse me, the labeling of eggs. Okay, so basically beforehand, apparently, because you know the whole thing of the perfect storm thing they're doing and preparing for, they're like gearing up again for that. So now eggs beforehand, when you are selling free range eggs, if the chicken's meant to be kept in captivity during the lockdown for the chickens, which happened a couple of years back, the farmers or supermarkets had 16 weeks to of a leeway before they had to rebrand the eggs as barn kept or caged kept.
Yeah.
Now they're scrapping all of this stuff. So now apparently that when it strikes, and if the birds have to go into in a lockdown, they no longer have to notify you for basically no time. So by the time you'll be paying potentially premium for a free range bird for the eggs, obviously there won't be free range because they weren't allowed to go. And it's kind of, it rose that a question for me, and then we're just wondering what your thoughts on that one. So I totally understand, not chicken's fault, not a farmer's fault. Supermarkets are the one that rebranding or repackaging, right? So it saves the money for not to have to do that. But if they're talking about the bird flu thing is spreading, so why are we talking about the lockdown? Because genuinely, well, what's the point? Because they want to, do that anyway. And then how fair is this to do with the money thing? Well, surely, as a consumer, if I'm paying for free range egg for say £4 for half a dozen, then well, if they're no longer free range, it deserves to have a lesser price, right?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I do 100%. I think what it's enabled the supermarkets to do is because the farmer is more likely to have to. The supermarkets will push the farmer after about 2 or 3 weeks of them being in houses to say, well, they're no longer free range, so we want to pay less for them.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I think it's about. So let's say that's a month. Yet the supermarket's given 4 months to change the branding on the boxes. I think personally that the supermarkets are having an extra 10 pence a dozen out of them.
Right. Okay.
That's all what's happening. I don't think the farmers are getting paid the same amount of money as they were. No. I'd put money on it that the fact that, because, it takes, I know a friend of mine, he keeps sort of 100,000 birds. And that's 100,000 eggs a day.
Yeah, that's a lot of eggs.
And if Tesco's, Sainsbury's, as the whatever it might be, can turn around and say, as the supermarket, where with the power we've got and the buying capability we've got to buy these from overseas now, what we'll do is we'll pay you 2p an egg less. Well, over 100,000 eggs a day over 16 weeks, it's just ridiculous money,
Yeah.
So I think, Anna, personally, I think that, the farmers will be getting screwed no matter what, and the supermarkets will be having the laugh.
Yeah. I read before that apparently farmers get farmers get 1p an egg from the supermarket. Is that close to truth, do you think?
I don't think that's true at all.
No, a little bit more.
I don't. I'll tell you what, I'll find out tomorrow what they get paid off of the supermarkets, and I'll let you know, because I don't know the answer. But, I mean, just the feed alone would be 10 times that, I would think.
Yeah.
So I would think I'd be very surprised if that was. It can't be true. It just can't.
No, it's too cheap, isn't it? Because you think feed for me as a non-chicken keeper that has 7 non-chickens, 20-kilo bag, it lasts us about 3 weeks. So and it's a tenner, £10.50 for the bag.
Yeah. When I very first started my farm, it was £4.40 9 years ago.
Yeah.
So it just gives you an idea of how much that's gone up.
Yeah, more than double. And it's only just like a bread pellet. It smells like
Yeah, the interesting thing is, Anna, grain on the farm is the same, more or less the same price it was 10 years ago.
Right.
So how are they making it come to double the money?
Yeah.
When it's not costing any more money.
No, but the thing is, the ones in the pellets we're talking about, well, they are pellets. They're literally, I've been told by a person, let's say person in know, they apparently are literally, they take the leftover bread from the factories that pre-packaged bread, like, you know, the shit that's got 40 ingredients, and then they're slicing and bag it up and sell it for like £2 a loaf, that kind of thing. They take all the leftovers and crumbs and then make them into pellets, like pressurize them, do blah blah blah, whatever else. They add on some protein. They have to, obviously, because call them layers pellets. They have to have protein for chickens to lay stuff. But that's what I've heard anyway. So I'm like, okay, so it's just basically paying for bread off the scraped off the floor from Warburton's or something. You know, I don't know.
Anna, there's someone's asking for sheep porn on the
Yeah, so we could. How do we stock up your dehydrated eggs? That's another thing actually I was going to say to you, because funnily enough, I did a video a few months back about myth busting about dehydrating eggs, cooked and not cooked. And then you say for the farmers that have so many eggs, it just suddenly crossed my mind. Well, we are in UK, don't really have the freeze drying thing that readily available. We have some American brands, but they they call it number 10 can, which is like I don't know, probably half a kilo for 100 grams, and they sell stuff like freeze dried foods. They sell eggs, and it's like 50-60 quid. It's like, my goodness, with that many eggs, if you invest like £5,000 in a freeze dryer or couple, and then running costs, you'd probably be making more money selling and opening up a brand of freeze dried eggs for the population, you know. But yes, sorry, Grace, yes, you can dehydrate eggs, but they have to be dehydrated raw, because cooked eggs just do not rehydrate properly. They just become grainy and horrible. So yes, you can. So yeah,
I learn something new every day when I'm on here, because the one thing I really want to understand, Anna, and I've said this before, is the one thing I really want to understand is the food preservation side. You know, because obviously we get such gluts of food at certain times. You know, at the moment on the veg beds behind me, you know, courgettes and tomatoes are just in abundance, and my partner's getting quite good at, you know, she's now starting to kind of play about with preserving and so forth. My mum's been helping her, and I kind of think to myself, you know, it's something we all need to understand and go back to. In my opinion, you know, it's probably the biggest single thing that we're all missing in our preps.
Yeah.
The knowledge to do that, you know, because
it's not as scary as people think, though, Mark. People, I think, put off because of the time and effort, but it's time, yes, but it's not your time per se. It's time if sitting dehydrating. But have you invested into dehydrator yet?
No, I haven't. That's something I've got to get into. It's not something I had a dehydrator, but I left it at another property.
Right. But yeah, you can buy one again. It doesn't have to be expensive. I started with, my husband bought one 12 years ago. It's been 12 years. I had it for 12 years, but I bought a new one last year. But it lasted me 12 years, and it was like 40 quid. You can still pick them up for that. And
I think the one I bought last time was about 100 quid, and it was a kind of a shelfie one.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, and it worked really well. We did lots of herbs, especially with it. We've been quite lucky because where we are, we've got an open barn next to us, so we've got a dry sunspot. So
nice.
We've got all the beans and all the peas and all the herbs all drying in there.
Yeah.
They're just further enough back to catch the sun, but they're out of the rain. And so Gloria, my partner, she's been shelling broad beans for the past 2 days, and she looked like she'd had enough when I called her.
Yeah, it's a bit of time consuming here. I don't do broad beans, but nonetheless, she
was busy doing a TikTok video, and she was sitting there. I think she was shelling beans, you know, telling people how to do it on TikTok. So which I thought was quite cool. And it's surprising how many people have just no idea, Anna. I mean, you know, even how to. I did a video on saving beans, you know, and a few weeks ago, and that one, you know, got thousands of views. And it's like you think to yourself, surely people must know this stuff, but they really don't.
No, I think really don't. Like, funnily enough, because I said this to my husband when I did a garden video a few weeks back, and I said I showed people how to do tomatoes, and I'm like, oh, I said nobody's gonna really watch it because surely people know it's just like straightforward. It's like, but people don't, because unless you've been introduced to this or you've seen this somewhere or even contemplated the fact that you can do this, people just don't. That's why I'm sort of persevering with ideas of, even if I think people not going to watch it or don't or know how to do it, I'm just going to do videos anyway, because they will, if it helps like one or two people.
Absolutely.
But it's funnily enough that the most videos that you spend the most effort on doing or researching or preparing, if you get like 200, 300, 400 views, I'm like, oh. And then you just talk about some nonsense that is happening, and you get like 5,000 views. It's like, oh, come on, surely the tomatoes are more important. But,
one of the biggest things I've been asked about, Anna, and you might want to think about this yourself. We obviously always talk about seeds and saving seeds and making sure you've got heritage seeds and so forth. One of the biggest things I've been asked about, and it's one of the videos I must do in the coming weeks, is about where to buy heritage seeds from, actually to list some companies that we trust to get them from, because that's one of the things. I think I had about 80 requests on that in the last week.
Right.
So that's something I've got to do a video on. I think, for yourself as well, you've got a much bigger audience than I have on YouTube. So I think it's something that people need to know.
Yeah.
I mean,
really
one of the things.
Sorry, go on.
Go on, no, carry on, Donna.
No, let's say with the seeds, because people commenting again, because I did a couple of garden videos, and last one was like the other day when I'm like, I'm just bloody giving up. I just had it was doing so well, and then everything gone to shit with many things like people mentioned. But with the seeds, people say they've been seeding things like 3-4 times, like I have, and I've been using the different seeds and the branded seeds and the not branded seeds, and many people saying that the seeds are just been failing constantly. But I must say though, I have had some non-hybrid seeds as well that really didn't do that well neither. So it's like, well, it's because I know heritage seeds or heirloom seeds, they quite a lot more money. And I picked up a tomato seeds from at the time of the Tesco's, and there was the heirloom variety, and it's like, okay, great. So they had them on a discount, but initially it was like almost £4, but it was on like 75% off. So I pick it up and I go, oh yeah, great, I got some tomatoes. I might try to plant some over the winter inside, because I've got a project I'm going to be doing to grow in an indoor greenhouse. And then I looked in the back of the package, like approximate seed count, like 7. It's like 7 seeds, for goodness sake. Do you know what I mean? It's price. Looking at the price is one thing, but 7 seeds in a package for almost like £4.
I know.
Seriously? It's ridiculous.
It's interesting. I went into we've got a local animal feed store in Bury St Edmunds, and I went in there the other day, and they've got huge shelves of racks of seeds. And I was like, just curious, I'll go in there and see what they've got. And I went walking across, and I was like, and they've got some really nice, because of my bee garden, what I'm put together this year, I wanted some delphiniums and, some nice proper traditional English flowers, stocks and cornflowers and different things. And I thought, I'll go in and get, and the packs of seeds were 50 seeds to a pack. Right. And I thought, well, that's quite a good size pack, until I saw they were $6.99 a pack. And I was like, well, you get more than seed, you get more than 50 seeds out of one sodding head. Yeah.
The same with the tomato. Exactly that. Exactly my point. Tomato, especially the big ones. Yeah. You get like a couple of hundred seeds probably, if not more. And they're selling 7 for like £4. It's like taking a Mickey
proper money, isn't it? We're in the wrong business, Anna.
Exactly what I thought. My goodness. But talking about that, right? Again, we're crossing over. But do you know, my idea was, because I've got, my website, and I've got a shop availability on my shop, on my website for the shop. And I'm like, one of my things I was going to do, and I was going to do, not say it's a favor to people, but I was going to grow my own like I do anyway, collect, and I was going to share or to sell some seeds just to cover like postage, that kind of thing. And then you look into the whole ruling and regulations of the seed and distribution of seed, and it's like, I can't even sell a household plant. My homegrown plant is I cannot even sell this on eBay or anywhere because it doesn't have a plant passport. How freaking stupid as that? So with the seeds, it's even worse. I've read that you can, as a farmer, if you say growing one thing and another farmer growing something else, you cannot exchange the bleeding seeds without it being illegal. It's a joke. So this is, the thing that people don't understand. It's like, yeah, people should be doing this in the community. Yeah, bloody great, but you're not allowed to do that. And yes, of course, who's going to find out on that kind of thing? But there's so much red tape for sharing seeds.
Anna, did you see that that there was a post on social media earlier this week, last couple of days, about a farmer down, I think it was down Wales direction, who'd got his grandchild in the tractor with him.
Yes.
And there's
And he
been
got complained
fines.
on. Yeah.
It's like, just what is going on with this? Well, I mean, Christ, my kids have all grown up, you know, with that, and you know, and we all did. You know, it was just like the combine was going down the field, we just run along and jump on the steps and get on. It's like,
Yeah, but you're on your own property. You're not driving. You're driving a vehicle, but you're not on the. You're on a private land. I
begs
can drive
belief.
a rally car in the back of my garden.
And there
Yeah,
was
it's not
and there was
illegal, is
nothing
it?
done to the person who videoed the child underage.
No. He said it was a neighbour, didn't it? He said it was a neighbour that grassed him up or something twice.
Yeah.
But he said it'd been done twice. But it's like, yeah, seriously, what? People got nothing better to do.
No, they
clearly,
haven't. No,
to,
this is and this is what we're turning into. You know, we are turning into a police state, and you will have people grassing each other up. And I just find that sad that people have got nothing else to do.
Yeah, that brings on to one of the parts. We're skipping a bit, but we can come back to other thing about the perfect storm and the stuff is coming. Is, you know, again, some people might consider this as a not say far-fetched. People don't believe, but the social credit score, and obviously the ID things, isn't it? It is what it is. It's been already everywhere it's everywhere, isn't it? It's publicly, it's been said that that's what they plans to do, and all in the name of keeping the society well behaved. And
interestingly, Anna, I've got a friend who runs a fudge company, Yum Yum Tree Fudge, and he's the most adorable guy. And he messaged me the other day and he said, "Are you about for a conversation?" So he rang me and he says, he said, "Have you seen the Tesla bots yet? Have you seen these?"
No.
Okay, so Tesla's invented some robots that are humanoids, effectively. So they brought out the first one 2 years ago. Last year they brought out number 2. This year they're bringing out number 3. They're so advanced, Anna. These things are so advanced, it's untrue. So they're saying that within the next 12 months, so by the end of 2025, that one of these robots will be £25,000. You'll be able to download. So if you want an electrician to work alongside you, you download the electrician download. If you want a plumber, a carpenter, Playboy, I don't know, whatever you might want, you can download the program for it at a cost of £80, right? It's things live to the internet all the time, obviously, if it needs to think about something and work something, calculate anything at all. They're £25,000. They'll work 20 hours a day, 7 days a week. They must charge for 4 hours. And they suggest that you actually find it something to do while it's on charge, sitting down for 4 hours so it doesn't get bored. Wow. Right, so this thing can work
for 25 grand. For
25 grand, right? So the battery life on it is 8 years. So for 25 grand over 8 years, you're going to get someone who can work 24 hours a day with no food, no sick pay, no holiday pay, no pension.
Yeah.
Just right. And he's looking at it from a business point of view because he runs a big factory, and he's going, wow, I'm never going to employ anybody else. I'm just going to get robots. Now, if just that brings me on to my next point. One of the points I made the other day about the social credit. Yeah. Right. So the social credit scoring and how you're going to get paid your free money to stay at home because you won't need to work because the robots will be doing it all. So
much bigger picture,
you know, that's part of the big picture. And when you understand that and you go, hell, that's scary, Anna. You know, you're only talking about the end of next year.
I know. If it goes this far, I know. See, my thing is the timing. I just still cannot envisage this happening. I see this just be starting to be implemented from 2025.
I think what we will see, Anna, and I do think this is the case, is over the course of the next, let's say, 2 years, they'll be available to, let's say, very rich people.
Yeah.
And then they'll become really cool and trendy, and people will be watching them on social media doing things, and everyone will think it's really hip to have one. Yeah. Then they'll probably make it so you can buy them on finance. You know, 25,000 over 8 years or so, so about £3,000 a year, £60 a week, £60 a week for someone you haven't got to feed. They can keep an eye on you while you're sleeping. They can, you know,
and
run your business
them
for
against you when they want to depopulate quicker. It's like done in your sleep.
You know, you know, when you've watched iRobot and different things, and Terminator and all the films we were brought up onto pre-programmers, you really do have to look at this and go, you know, this is actually really is a bit scary.
Yeah, but do you know, Mark? Do you know when I did research, not research, but a bit of research on the new government program thing, right, about the preparedness thing. When you do research on the government's oh my goodness, the threats to the country and global threats, the AI was there in the top 10. I'm like, AI threats, what the hell are you talking about? Like cyber attacks, cyber attacks are separate things. It's like, what the hell? But clearly that, and again, talking about, you said about the robot. I now vaguely remember seeing a video, it was a short video, where the robot was harvesting grain. He was like grabbing it by the chunk and doing this. I'm like, sitting down and saying, surely that's not real. But clearly it probably could be. And then there was the film, again, I watched. It was based on that kind of thing, right? Where people being given a universal wage because it's already been tested, right? It's been tested in the UK and it tested in the Wales as well. So a few lucky, I think it was like 1,500 people in Wales got selected to be literally 2 years. Just imagine that. I think they were getting like, let's call it vaguely, say $2,000 a month for a family of 2 or 3. It's like, bloody hell, that's for doing like FA. Literally, lucky bastards, right? And all they wanted to do, the point was they wanted to research and see how people behave when they have the money. So they're already in the stages of evaluating our behaviors as a nation on a small scale. To what would you do? Do you become just sit on your ass and do nothing because you've got $2,000 coming in, or are you still ready to go work to make your life better? And again, it all sort of interlinks. It's really difficult to try to explain this into one like conversation thing with all the stuff happening in my head, all the things that we know, to try to portray this to people, because obviously the whole idea is that they're trying to judge and understand what we're doing. So that film that was made based on that, but it was quite a long time ago, it was people being given the money and they could do whatever they want, and majority did decided to do nothing because the money they've been given give them idea to explore themselves and explore, to become a musician, to become a painter, to do what you want to do, because you didn't have to worry about anything at all. So in generally, they made a better nation. But then, of course, some people chose to work, some people didn't. And the whole, obviously, thing with the universal thing that they're trying to do, obviously trying to judge what people will be doing. And I think it's going to be, again, a very, it will be very much a separated community to who chooses to do what, because
but I suppose we become less separated, don't we? In the next 2 years, if robots start taking over more and more and more, and over the next 5 years, we can see that really coming into play by 2030, then, you do look at it and go, well, if they shut down a factory of, 500 people, because it's all automated, and offer all 500 of them the opportunity to stay at home and just get free money, they'll probably just go, well, it's not even worth looking. Do you know what? I've got a nephew, right, Anna, and this is really scary. He's got himself into tens of thousands of pounds of debt going off to university. Got himself a master's, bachelor's, everything else, that he could possibly get. He's got the highest distinctions, everything that he could possibly get. Come out. I hate to think how many tens of thousands in debt can't get a job. Yeah. Even McDonald's won't take him on because he's overqualified. Yeah. And he's applying for jobs and he's up against 5,000 other applicants, and you think to yourself, well, all the kids have been lied to. This is the problem. They've been sold this complete pup to leave school. The best thing to do is go to university to, well, you're getting yourself into a little bit of debt now, but, that's going to help you get a much better job. But no, it's not. All you're doing is they've got you in the trap now. And you can't get out of it. I know when my daughter finished university, she worked out that, if she got a really good job, all she was going to ever do was pay back the money. If she got a sensible job, she never had to give it back. And it was like, well, you don't want to wonder the kids are doing what they're doing.
I know. See, I did been myself there. I've 4 years of University of Brighton. And when you leave university, well, all the local jobs are taken because of the previous year and year and year, all the people that leave university. My first job, never guess, after studying the business marketing and law, my first job was door-to-door sales because I could not get anything else. And then there was a phone sales and there was a window sales. Believe it or not, I had to go around and knock at people's doors trying to sell them windows and guttering. Yeah, you learn stuff because I understand about, this and then cladding and all that kind of stuff. And stuff when it looks a bit worn and stuff needs replacing. But nonetheless, this is how I started business marketing and law for, to go and sell people windows. Do you know what I mean? This this is exactly true. It happens all the time, and
Do you
unfortunately,
still walk around when you're walking around the streets? Go, well, they need to get that sorted out.
it has been a long time ago. I have all the time been running my own business for a very long time now, but nonetheless, though, I've gone through all of the jobs, but I could not get the job in Tesco's because I was overqualified. So, but yeah, it's exactly proven point of
Absolutely.
proven point of that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so sorry, yeah, so with oh, you know, it's like digressing, but the subject of even the AI when you touch on, so there was a lot of stuff online, like I said, with the government stuff and other people saying about the AI taking over something scary, obviously for that reason alone. So that's why I would imagine, as you say, if there's no jobs, government will have to do something to support people, because otherwise, rather than being a really calm society, it's going to turn to shit, isn't it? And I assume they really don't want that. They want, you know, depopulation, that kind of thing. But, you know, if there's no jobs going around, they would have to subsidize people. They would have to.
Well, it's easy to get depopulation if you get most of the planet on basic income, isn't it? Universal basic income, then just turn it off.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know, so with the robot, I've seen somebody mention like about the EMP. So technically, it's a good idea, but we're so reliant on energy and or electricity, and obviously things will be happening like with the solar stuff. I keep still seeing they're saying, "Oh my God, it's going to be a really strong one," and somebody lost this or that or internet somewhere due to that. So
Yeah.
how come they still aiming to create the AI to take over the humanoids and still having all this stuff that's going on, unless it's just made up bullcrap, you know?
Yeah, I mean, and we've been lied to so much. I don't think we even know what the truth is anymore.
No, it's confusing. But trying to dig the truth, trying to make a sense of it, and it's very bloody hard, isn't it? But
yeah,
talking, sorry, coming back to slightly bit to the social credits, like pretty much like they have in China. But we're talking about, let's say, like we talk about chickens. Like people say, well, who would know? Who would know that you have or don't have or registered or didn't register, or who would know whatever else whatever stuff they want you to do or not to do? Well, again, give people an incentive to say, well, actually, give yourself an extra few credit scores. If you just, you know, keep an eye on your neighbours to, you know, let us know.
that's exactly what happened.
That there's people who do this. And again, another point, there's really, I really strongly feel about this. Many people say with whatever they're going to try and pull upon us, which we'll cover for a little, you know, for the towards the end, people say, well, I'm not going to comply. People are just not going to comply. Well, to be fair, let's vaguely just briefly brush over what's been happening for the past, not past week, but for the past couple of weeks, okay? Every year I'm not complying. We're doing this with, you know, we're going in marching and, you know, doing what people did then in anger. And it's like, well, that's it, because everybody wanted to just let go. And then suddenly, oh, you guys have 40 months in prison. People quickly piped bloody down, didn't they? So you have to make sure that on my Facebook group, we had to make sure that I said to the other admin to make sure that we take any potential post that could incriminate other people, take it down, because it's not worth, because you don't know. And people say they wouldn't be compliant. Well, you will be compliant if you know you're going to go to prison. And this is, I think, how simple it is for them to implement anything else. Nowadays, like the line being drawn or the bar has been set, everybody's been like, okay, we'll think twice about mentioning something or doing something. So when it comes to next things that they're potentially planning for us to do, it's like people, yeah, I'm not going to comply. Well, bloody damn well, if they say you're going to go to prison for 2 years and you have a young kid at home, you know, if you're a single parent especially, it's madness, isn't it?
It's definitely that.
Yeah, but so yeah. Anyway, so let's just hold on. So yes, the lovely the monkey thing, right? We talked about again. It's gone everywhere. It's literally it's hitting. I'm reading this and I'm like, really not. Surely they're not making this the next thing. And I know a few people a little while back did some videos. Is it going to be the next pandemic? That thing? Is it going to be that? And I'm like, surely not. They can make, you know, blow a bleeding mountain out of the molehill. But so far, it's heading this way. For the SHTF storm, it's bloody heading it alongside of every other crap that is happening. It is happening there, right?
Absolutely.
17,000 people infected, £500 apparently got, unfortunately lost their lives to that. And obviously, we know who declared this as a global pandemic. Well, it's all global, but it stays in certain countries. WHO. They declared this as the global pandemic like last week or something.
Yeah.
Apparently.
But did you notice when the head of the WHO gave the speech, he said, "I've been told to say
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
Well, hang on a minute. You're in
Who
charge.
told
Who's
you?
telling you to say what?
Yeah, I know. And the fact is, as well, the latest one I've seen, I think it was this morning or yesterday. They were asking for 135 million in support of research and basically producing the uh, solution. So I'm not going to use the word for the things, but they're already made. Some countries already made, like with that's in a couple of weeks back already made. Oh, which country did that? I can't remember. I said this last year. They spent like 70 million on enough to do enough, you know, that to people. So now the WHO want for support. I'm like, seriously, that's like petty cash for you lot, right? Who's sitting there asking for money, bloody handouts from who exactly? You're bloody multi-billionaires altogether. What's 135 million? Put the hand in your freaking pocket. Off you go. If you want to support that kind of crap, off you go.
You have to ask. Maybe they're running out of money.
Yeah. What, spending
Maybe they've spent so much on bringing this plan into play, they've run out of cash. Maybe all we need to do is keep running it.
Yeah. Oh. But
just keep breaking the bank.
Yeah. But yeah, it's I think it's absolutely ridiculous, and I just cannot understand what way. You know, again, the perfect storm part of mine. It's so many things at once, and I just cannot piece how or which is what thing is going to be happening first. As a prepper, right? The whole idea is we're trying to evaluate, or I'm trying to evaluate what is happening, and you're trying to take not say invasive actions because we can't really evade them. We could just prepare to potentially what is coming, but what kind of one of the things is going to be happening first. It's because the escalation with the conflict, between the two countries that started like 900 days ago. It's getting out of control. So it's been strung along for such a long time, but now it feels like it's picking up a bit of momentum. So how would you relate all of those things that are currently happening? It's like I know, obviously we know it's a plan, is an agenda for 2025 and 2030. So I cannot make head and tail of the whole putting all those things together. It just makes no freaking sense. It doesn't make sense. It's got to be a really shitty coincidence of so many things are happening, or is it just that we're totally oblivious of something else that it's kind of been happening?
None of it's meant to make sense. You know that it's all designed to confuse people. You have to remember that.
Really?
I've been upping my preps considerably the last couple of months. I still think before November the 5th, when the American election takes place, I still think before that we're going to have something catastrophic happen.
Right. I.e., what do you think?
I don't. My thought would be they'll drop the monetary system. We know that's coming at some point.
Yeah.
That
America
would be
or everywhere.
I think they'll drop it everywhere. They'll just snowball it in and just say that as each bank falls, it takes down everybody else with it. And we all know it's a pack of cards waiting to fall.
Yeah.
Interestingly, if you look at who are the big shareholders, Warren Buffett especially, he's been selling billions of pounds worth of shares the last few weeks. He's liquidating everything into cash, in buying up gold like it's going out of fashion. These people know, Anna, they know what's going on. We don't have to give any thought to, and think that they don't know what's going on. We know they do, and unfortunately, I think we all worry too much about things we can't control.
Yeah, but see, with the monetary thing, obviously, we know obviously it's potentially not potentially. It's they want that. The government mentioned that already. They want like the cashless society. But I know obviously the stock market's crashed like a little while back, and because people have been withdrawing money. But see, I've got, like I said, I have quite a probably different opinion to many in terms of the cash. Because a little while back, when all this started, not say a little while back, let's say, maybe 6 months, maybe 8 months back, and there were a lot of people like, oh yeah, you need to get the money out, let's make a run on the banks, let's get all the cash out, let's get the money out. And then actually, I found a bloke, there was actually like a financial, oh God knows what, but he's like totally understood in and out of the bank, and it's like, you're fucking it up, excuse the French, by going in there taking money out of the banks. Banks don't physically hold your money, the money is invested. So he said, but all you did, they're rushing into trying to get majority out because you think that piece of paper going to be worth something. You're messing it up yourself. You're messing the banks up by doing so yourselves. And I know there's still at the moment people like, oh, get the cash. And I know you said as well, get the money, get the cash out, which is fine.
I think the problem is that my belief is, and when it all goes tits up, your cash has probably a value of about 10 to 14 days. After that, it's going to be worthless.
Yeah, that's my point. Exactly.
You know, you're going to have that initial thing where you'll be able to trade with people who still think it has a value.
Yeah.
And I think once they're just chemtrailing in front of me wickedly.
Yeah, we mentioned that in a minute because people, again, people said, like, come back to that in a second.
I definitely think that, you know, if they drop the banking system this year, that would be the biggest thing they could do to cause total pandemonium. And with that, they'll just say that, you know, they can't hold an election. That is what I think will probably happen. You know, if I've got my crystal ball watermelon out tonight, that's, you know, I'd be going, you know, I think that's where we're going. You know, I think that scares me because, you know, I've been doing a lot of prepping, Anna. And I say, I've kind of tried to hedge myself on. I hold some crypto.
Yeah.
I hold some money in the bank. I hold some gold. You know, and you kind of look at things. You think to yourself, what do I put it into? I still think the best thing you can put any level of money into is food. I genuinely do. You know,
short term. It's not say short term, but it's as long as you can afford to have enough food to last you.
Yeah, you know, and I think, you know, I was going to say is, you know, that if the shit does hit the fan, you know, and we're out of, you know, sync for, you know, we know last time, Anna, when they had the pandemic, it was a good few months before the country got back to any level of normality. And, you know, there was massive strain on the food supplies and everything else. I think this time, if they really wanted to, they would drop the food supply chain a lot quicker. And they would drop the monetary system quicker and cause total pandemonium. And that would depopulate a big percentage of the planet straight away.
Yeah, they reckon 90% of people will die of famine in the first year.
Yeah.
See, with not the population side, but with the cash thing, right? Coming back to the briefly, because I know we said that people obviously stocking up cash, if you can call this stocking up. But again, as you say, first 2 weeks. So once people not idea, because when something happens, like banks going down, which that happened a couple of times, literally about 2 months ago, wasn't it? There was issues with the visa, issues with that banks, and every time something happened, everybody or every prepper like, is that it? Is it what happened? You know, is it that? Is it going to be the, you know, the final straw? What is happening?
Yeah.
And during that time, life still goes on because none of us know. So having some cash to go in and buy yourself petrol or diesel to get to work, or buy some food if you are silly enough not to have a little bit enough behind you for at least a week, that's what it's good for. Thereafter, you having thousands of pounds sitting there in paper outside the bank just makes no bleeding odds, because at the banks over there, and suddenly, well, actually digital currency is now in play. The paper money worth anything but the toilet paper, so might as well stock up on that just to wipe your bum, because it just won't. But I think many people still think that it's going to be holding a value long term as well. Like yourself, we got crypto, we invested in crypto again a few years back, but still crypto pretty much follows the stock market as well. We lost, like on the last downturn, we lost 50% of the investment has gone down. So, and it's not really been recovering at all. But that's, you know, it's what it is.
Yeah, but you've only got to look, Anna. I mean, last time, you know, when at the start of 2020 was when I first got into crypto, and I earned a fortune out of it inside the first 16 weeks of the pandemic.
Right.
The first 16 weeks, everyone was concerned about what was going to happen. The value of crypto went through the roof, real quick. And
wasn't it the Bitcoin was at this low though, wasn't it, at the beginning? I think that's what.
Yeah.
It's dropped like $4,000.
But there, you know, bear in mind that it's, I don't know what there is now, thousands of different cryptos. And I was just buying up penny shit, you know, penny value ones, and anything anything under 20 pence. I was just buying it up, you know, hundreds of it. And, you know, within weeks, it doubled, trebled, quadrupled. And, you know, so I think there'll be things what run really quick. If there's no power, if there's no broadband, if there's no internet, what is crypto?
Yeah. And at the same time, if the CBDC comes along, I reckon they will quickly put the Bitcoin on any other currency, because there'll be competition. Why would you run competition that is non-governed? That can't govern the Bitcoin. They can do what they want. They mine it, whatever, you know. There's no governing.
I don't know. I don't know about that, to be honest. I think that crypto was set up by the CIA.
Do you?
Yeah. If you do some research into it, you don't have to dig very deep to find that out.
Right. For what
You know, we
purpose?
were all led to believe 5 years ago that it was set up by someone by the name of, you know, whatever it
Yeah.
was, Ishimakasubi, whoever it was. You know, and I kind of, when you dig into it, you know, it was set up as a way to launder money. That's all
Right.
it ever
Yeah.
was.
Could be.
You
Yeah.
know, it was set up as a way to launder money to, you know, buy little people overseas and, you know, things that other people shouldn't be doing. You know,
Yeah.
and I just think that you know, my big thing is I'm passionate about food, Anna, but I still think food has the biggest value
Yeah.
because,
It's
you know, if the biggest load of shit happens, let's face it, the biggest load of shit is likely to happen.
you still gotta eat them.
It's, someone's putting their Bitcoin as NSA. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely a governmental inside job. You know, if shit really hits the fan, then food is going to be tradable.
Yeah.
It's going to keep you alive. You know,
That
it's
was
going
my
to,
next thing to bring up. Yeah. Go on.
you
Yeah,
know, I
finish it.
think, you know, we can all look at what do you value something on. You know, if we run a local food hub group, and we, you know, do you remember the story about, you know, some little boy who got a paperclip and he wanted and he exchanged it with someone to get, you know, a
Yeah.
pencil, and it went on and on and on,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
kept trading it up. Well,
Yeah.
so I'd put a post up today on the food hub. I was yesterday saying about the turkeys were coming and about, you know, what investment it was and rah rah rah. And
You
someone
want the
had, you
calorie
know,
exchange, yeah?
yeah, and someone had got some potatoes they've grown under electroculture. And, you know, these potatoes are doing really well. They've got massive crop, and, you know, and someone else has got loads of butternut squash, which are doing really well. And they're all talking about how they could trade things with each other. And it's like, what value do you put on a butternut squash against a turkey? You
Yeah.
know, how many butternut squash would you have to trade for a turkey? Do you measure the value of the turkey in old money? If it, like, the turkey's worth £100,
Yeah.
and a butternut squash is worth £1.50, you know, am I likely to get about 65 butternut squash for the turkey, or is, if I really want a butternut squash and I don't want a turkey, what's it worth?
I think like it have to be calorific value, I would imagine, Mark, because at the end of the day, it's calories. That's what you need. Because, well, as you say, the squash, you know, not going to feed you or not going to fill you up with the same weight as a meat would do. So I think you have to be
just turkey.
calorific value. So yeah, but no, but the point is with the talking about the cash or the whatever cryptocurrency or money is, I think if government says, oh, rice is a current currency because there's a shortage, then the rice will be a currency. It's not a supply is demand, but it is, if it is in demand, and this is what it is that government says or situation allows to be governed by, and it says so rice is the currency, it will be. And whatever else, other people say, oh yeah, gold will always be gold. Gold only has a value because people want it. If nobody wants it, it has no value. The same as with silver or any other metals or diamond.
This is why. Well, we all know diamonds was made up anyway.
Yeah,
you
but
know,
it's just a stone, and because people made it into that wanted thing that, you know, people do a really horrific job of trying to get to them. But it's nothing. It's just a stone. There's plenty of other prettier stones that don't worth
you know,
as much.
you've only got to
They
look.
made it that.
Hollywood played a massive part in making diamonds important, and they just nothing. I don't see. You know, one of my mates bought his missus a diamond ring, and you know, he probably won't thank me for saying this, but I think he spent about £15,000 on it. You know,
Bloody
and
hell.
the marriage lasted about 3 months, and she pawned it in, and he happened to get called back from the jeweler to say that he was in the position of being able to buy his ring back if he wanted it.
Well, for 13 grand back, yeah.
So they wouldn't pay her out on it. That was, they rang him because they knew the ring, because they cut it specially for him. So they said, look, you know, you better know about this. And he was like, oops.
Yeah. Just imagine the amount of food you could have bought for 15 grand.
Well, that's what I say. And, you know, where do you put a value on something like that? I mean, to me, I just think it's nonsense, genuinely, you know. I mean, it's a bit like designer clothes. And, you know, I understand that, you know, and I've done it with my kids when they were younger before you know, I was awake, but not awake like I am now. And, you know, designer clothes and things, you think, so what fucking planet are we all on to think that that's important, and to think that, you know, they need to have stuff like that, you know? And I think that's really scary.
It's influencing by social media, by where you live a lot.
Absolutely,
absolutely,
100%.
It's like if you didn't, you know, go out like looking like, you know, with the designer stuff, people like, you know, or certain places, if you want to go to a decent restaurant, you can't just show up just wearing random everyday shit just because you could, and you could just not give a crap. But then I don't want to sit there, have my dinner, and then people staring at you like sniggering because you didn't wear what expected. And it's a bad way. It's a horrible way. And it took us a long time to understand, and moving away from that to understand. Like here, first time after moving in from Brighton, we went to a little crappy pub next door. I'm like, I went in and I said, do you know what? I'm not even putting makeup on. I had the jeans and the hoodie. Like, how cool is that? I didn't have to. There was no need to because I didn't care. First of all, we just moved. Then it's like, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because people in the villages, I'd be more. None of it matters, and not that I don't care for this stuff anymore. Is more let's grow some more food, trying to considering
Yeah, I think that that 2020 really showed people what value things had, and the government assisted people through that period by free money.
Yeah,
lots of people use that free money to just make the garden look pretty, or I've got one friend in particular who used the money very wisely, and made sure that he really got to prep.
Right. But you're talking about the furlough scheme.
Yeah, all this free money nonsense. I mean, I was having, I think, because we were so busy on the farm and the farm shop and so forth, we had 50 people there helping, volunteering, what were all on furlough. They because they didn't want to stay at home. It's like, well, I'm being paid to stay at home. Can I just come and volunteer? What do you want to do?
Furlough, though, even if you've been paid the furlough, you still got your bills to go though. It's not like they were free money to like. We've been both furloughed, but never had any surplus of money because you got even at some point actually paid less than your initial wage anyway. So it's not.
Well, I think what it was if people were at home, they would then want to do something. So I'm going to go down the pub for dinner because I haven't got to go to work. Well, that's going to cost me an extra 30 quid. And I'm only getting the same as my wages, and I can't normally afford to go to the pub. But it's such a nice day. The weather was lovely. As if the weather was so nice for so long, like it was planned, Anna.
Yeah. Well, we know your answer to that one, don't we? But yeah. So you said let's do just the brief one, right? It's the the thing is you said about in the sky, and I know it's getting darker, but it's so many people commented on the the sky above and all the things that's happening, and I still cannot believe the controversy that of people talking about it. Some people do, somebody commenting, and then people like rip into people like for saying it's like it's some sort of a tin hat people say that oh my god, there's a chemicals in the sky, and it's like no, it's not. Do you see? I didn't see, like, there was some comments I read, people saying, oh, the cloud seeding, obviously we know it's there, it's everywhere, for goodness sake. It's been proven that it's on the Met Office website, isn't many other websites as a thing. People are, oh, I didn't see a plane having a cloud little puffy machine at the back. It's like, fucking hell, people. It's like, but it's so much of it. But talking when I did the gardening video, a lot of people are saying that it's been have such a huge effect or impact on obviously our growing. And we talked about the seeding stuff like 4 or 5 times, and things are just not happening. So it's almost like whatever the heritage seeds or not seems to be, if that's there, then what bloody hope do we have?
Yeah.
It is what it is. But at least you got yourself your polytunnel sorted now, haven't you?
Well, no.
Not yet.
That's on my list. I've got to build a second turkey house first, and then I'm going to build the polytunnel. Then after that, I've got a hen house to build, and after that, I've got a broiler house to build. So we've got everything here to do all those. So it's not like if the shit hits the fan, we can't do something. We've got everything here what we need. We've been prepping up quite heavily on making sure we've got the gear in place we need.
Yeah.
One of the things I was going to say, Anna, and I don't know if you can see this. Where am I? That plough. There's a plough.
Yeah, I can see behind you. Yeah.
Over that shoulder. They're becoming a thing of the past now, because one of my big things as a kid was, I used to love to plough a field. To see those beautiful lines dropped across the field, and and then you go back and cultivate it, and you go back and disc it, you go back and roll it, you go back and drill it. and all of this is going on, and one of the big things they're trying to cut down with the amount of carbon which farmers produce, obviously, and we need to lock the carbon in the ground, stop letting it go in the atmosphere, is that ploughing will become a thing of the past and will now direct drill. So once the stubble's down like it is behind me, you drill directly into that. And with direct drilling, a direct drill now I think is about £70,000-80,000 probably. But that is now going to be the new way which drilling's done, and that will cut out like 4 or 5 sequences in the farming. But the problem is that when you plough, it damages the soil. I understand that now, right?
Right.
But if you've got you direct drill it, you still have to roll it and things, because if you don't, then the slugs have somewhere to live. And when it's lovely and flat and you've got nothing, the problem is when you direct drill, you've still got the stubble, so you've still got somewhere for slugs to be, to hide in the shades and things like this. And that's going to be a massive issue going forward with direct drilling, that you're going to see a lot. They're either going to have to use a lot of insecticides, pesticides, or they're going to have to find a solution to that. If they can kill the insects, maybe they'll be good enough to kill the slugs for us.
Yeah,
because they've been a massive problem this year.
It's a vicious circle. Yeah, I know. I honestly, not to brought me to tears, but again, my last video I did when I said I'm giving up, suddenly, literally for the past 2 weeks, they just appeared everywhere, and it was a little bit of our fault because we cut some bushes, hedging quite a lot, and that dumped a lot on the lawn because we had nowhere to go because it started raining, so we didn't have a chance to shred it or take it down to the tip, so it just been dumped in there. I lifted up the couple of things, the twigs, and oh my god, they were literally everywhere. They were just everywhere, and some of them are like they're huge. It's like not the size of an apple, size of a plum when they curled up, bloody huge. In the space of 2 weeks, it's like, where the hell did you come from? I know they self-reproduce. They're one of those lucky kinds that can just produce like 100 of their former selves just by themselves. That's what they do. But oh my god, I literally put a couple of my ladies in there. Literally, it's like one. It's like 100. You must have picked 100, one of them, just in the space of like a minute.
They love it, don't they?
Oh, they do. But it's helpful. But I couldn't, because the grass wasn't trimmed, and obviously chickens are not allowed to go in the really tall grass because if they obviously consume this, is not good for their crop and stuff. But nonetheless, though, it's like, but yeah, it's just enormous amount of them today, and that just brought to light how many were there, because.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I'm just going to decant myself off, and I'll go for a wander as the sun's setting. I'll wander around the other end of the farm and just show you the turkeys, because otherwise we're not going to see the turkeys otherwise, because they'll be a bit dark.
Yeah, it's getting dark, isn't it?
Let me just shut the car up, because someone drove into my car today, which was a bit unfortunate.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the guy backed up real quick in a built-up area, I have to say, and there was loads of kids about. It was lucky he didn't kill somebody, but smashed the back end of my car all in, which is a bit of a beggar.
You got his insurance details and all that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he was a bit shell-shocked, to be honest, bless him. But
so I didn't see you there, mate. Yeah, I just don't mean to.
But yeah, so yeah, well, I'll just wander around the other side of the farm, because you'll be able to see me. Or no, they're the other ones. I think the chickens have gone to bed. We've got some really naughty girls, Anna. They just will not lay where they're supposed to. They take themselves off. They take themselves off every day, and and misbehave. Oh, they're terrible. They're going to get an enclosure built for them and all. And they're going in the hen house.
Yeah.
Another one.
You know what? I think that
pasture-fed one, so they'll be out and about. But just one of the freedom they've had.
Yeah, I think the girls do this deliberately. I think ours started just doing the eggs in a different corner. It's just like, do you know what? I had enough. I'm just doing it here because I feel like doing it. And of course, one does it, and then half of the other one said, "Oh, you're going to join this? Oh, I can sit on your egg as well."
Yeah, it's just a nightmare, aren't they? But anyway, where was we on the list of things we were going to go through? Because just while I'm wandering over here, because I'm conscious
I think we've pretty much done the your ball was about the
my crystal melon.
Yeah. Yeah, cashless, all the stuff that is coming, obviously the cashless society, the social ID, social credit, that kind of thing, the other type passports, obviously the spread of the the thingy. And one thing, just out of again, just point of interest if anybody at all is interested in my stupid bit of shit knowledge. But you know, the mpox obviously was a monkeypox. Yeah, so they renamed it an mpox because it was somewhat unfair to monkeys. I quote the word: "It was unfair to monkeys," because it's initially originated from, I think, so from rats or from bats. So nonetheless, oh look, oh they're little, aren't they? They're definitely young. You can see their little neckies, not that big yet.
They're about half grown at the moment.
Oh, so cute and so ugly at the same time.
Lovely, aren't they?
Yeah.
They've literally only just gone in, so
They're
we've
very
got
quiet.
yeah, they are. They that's they are at the moment.
Yeah. Whereas later,
Tomorrow morning,
they get bites, won't they?
tomorrow morning when I leave for work about 3 o'clock, they'll all be kicking off.
Yeah.
So I built this whole house, this thing there, and it's all on skids.
Yeah,
So
yeah, you said, yeah, that's good.
down the side, it's a bit clever.
Yeah.
I used to follow a guy called the can't remember who I follow on social media, and he built one of these, and his was on like a lot lighter and on wheels, and I was like, I can see that blowing away.
Yeah.
So you know, I've built it heavy enough that can you know can be and sit there. So
yeah.
hoping that'll be all right.
Yeah. Well, they're due, to be fair. I've seen before we go goes. I've seen they're due what they call the chicken tractors. Believe it or not, the same sort of thing. It's little cage on wheels, but heavy or metal one. It's still on a smaller scale. You can put the girls in there. You can just wheel this about, so they have a fresh grass or any point where you move this about. So
yeah.
But no, sorry, we're finished there, and obviously you're getting darker. We'll let you go. Yeah, the mpox, monkeypox, because it's not studied for monkeys. So they renamed this because it was unfair to monkeys. And yet, there I say this, the chickenpox is still named chickenpox. And well, to be fair, maybe chickens feel offended by that because it's actually not originated from chickens whatsoever. Believe this or not, because got the name chickenpox because it looked like a chickpea. So they called it a chickenpox. Nothing to do with chicken. So
I reckon we're gonna have turkey pox next.
Yeah, well, it'd be the same thing, and potato, wouldn't it? Right, shall we quickly ask any questions, guys, before Mark dashes off because it's dark and he's got stuff to do? And yes, any other questions? Anybody? I know I've been sort of keeping an eye on the what do you call them, and then everybody has been having their own. No, cool. Okay.
Yeah, I think we looked at some of them. What about cowpox? Well, we've already got that. It's called TB.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you did say, didn't it, earlier today as well? Okie dokie. Well, anyway, it does get really dark for you, doesn't it? So, okie dokie. Well, thank you everybody for joining us again, guys. It's been quite an influx of the new views today, or it's been quite a bit more today, which is great. So, thank you very much, guys, for joining. Obviously, don't forget to, if you do find this not so entertaining but somewhat helpful, or both, don't forget to spread the word. We need to obviously get people up a bit more and jigger them along. Somebody's asking, what's the yield like this year for crops?
Down.
Yeah, you did count you didn't mention this last year, didn't you? You said some of it did good, some of it didn't. I think.
Yeah, the crops came up and looked good, but definitely the yield's down. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We can cover that again next time, can't we? So we don't.
And it seems now it's interesting now. I put a load of leeks in, and they're doing really, really well.
Oh, really? Lucky
really
for some.
well.
Like a wet lettuce, like tiny.
Oh no, I've put them in coir. I've put them in that coir compost I've got, and they're growing they're on steroids. They're
wow!
huge.
You gotta show us your leek next time.
I'll make sure I'll do that. We'll make sure we show some leeks next time.
Awesome.
But yeah, okay. Well, Anna,
yes,
thank you very much. It's been emotional, darling.
Yes, and you as usual, and we'll see you sometime very soon, I'm sure.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, take care. Bye, everyone.
For tuning.
Oh, you lost signal, Mark. Oh, you lost signal. We'll see you soon. Okay, we're still there. Yes, thank you, guys, everybody. Thank you. We'll see you soon. Okay, bye-bye.